Welcome to English Spoken, the channel where you improve your English by listening to real-world topics and social issues. Improve your English by listening to educational audio texts. In this episode, you'll learn about plastic soup, a growing global problem that affects our oceans, environment, and health. Practice your language skills while discovering how plastic pollution impacts the world and what we can do to stop it. What is plastic soup? Plastic soup is the name for all the pieces of plastic waste floating in our oceans. The term was invented by the Dutch organization Plastic Soup Foundation. Just like in a bowl of soup, many kinds of plastic particles float around, from large items like bottles and bags to tiny pieces that are almost invisible to the naked eye. It may seem like this problem only exists in big oceans, but that's not true. Plastic soup is found all over the world, from the North Pole to the South Pole, and from deep seas to rivers near your own town. How does it form? Plastic soup is created when plastic waste is not cleaned up or processed properly. A lot of plastic ends up on the streets or in nature. Rain and wind carry the waste through rivers and streams to the sea. So, a bottle left behind in a park could eventually reach the ocean. Because plastic hardly breaks down, it stays in the environment for years. Over time, large pieces of plastic break into smaller pieces, but they don't disappear. This is how microplastics are formed, and they can end up almost anywhere. There are 5 large gyres in the world's oceans where plastic builds up. A gyre is a kind of whirlpool in the sea caused by ocean currents. The most famous one is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch between Hawaii and California. Here, a huge amount of plastic floats around. Some pieces are even decades old. What types of plastic are found in the sea? There are different types of plastic in the ocean. We can divide them into macroplastics, large items like plastic bags, bottles, fishing nets, crates, and packaging. These are clearly visible and dangerous, because animals can get tangled in them or eat them. Mesoplastics, plastic pieces from 5 millimeters to about 2.5 centimeters. These often come from the breakdown of larger plastic items. They're hard to clean up but still visible to people. Microplastics, particles smaller than 5 millimeters. These are the most dangerous because they're easily swallowed by animals. Microplastics come from worn-down materials, like car tires, synthetic clothes, like fleece, or broken-down plastic waste. Nanoplastics, extremely tiny plastic particles, invisible to the naked eye and even to normal microscopes. These can enter the human body and harm cells and organs. Because of all these different forms, plastic pollution is very hard to fight. The smaller the plastic, the harder it is to remove. Also, the particles spread easily through the wind, ocean currents, and even rainfall. The impact on the environment. Plastic soup is not just a problem that affects the oceans. It has far-reaching consequences for the entire ecosystem. Animals get entangled in plastic waste or eat it with serious consequences. They may become ill, starve, or even die. Birds mistake plastic for food and feed it to their chicks. Fish swallow microplastics, which then enter other animals through the food chain and eventually reach humans. Plastic also pollutes the soil and water. Since it never fully breaks down, microplastics remain in the environment. These small particles attract toxic substances such as pesticides and heavy metals, which spread through water and animals. Plants can also be harmed. As a result, the entire ecosystem becomes unbalanced. The consequences for humans. The effects of plastic soup are not only visible in nature, they directly affect humans too. Because we eat fish that have ingested plastic, we also consume microplastics. Researchers have found microplastics in human blood, stool, and even in the placentas of pregnant women. The long-term effects are still unknown, but early research suggests that plastic exposure could damage cells and weaken the immune system. Plastic pollution also causes economic damage. Think of tourist areas where beaches are covered in plastic, or fishermen who lose their catch because their nets are full of trash. Cleaning up rivers, beaches, and oceans costs billions of euros every year. Solutions and alternatives. Fortunately, there are many efforts underway to fight plastic soup. One of the most important steps is reducing plastic use. More and more countries are introducing deposit systems, banning plastic bags, or encouraging the use of reusable packaging. New materials are also being developed, such as biodegradable plastic made from cornstarch or seaweed. Businesses play a crucial role too. They are being encouraged to reduce packaging or to use materials that can be recycled. Some supermarkets are already testing plastic-free aisles. There are also technological solutions, special ships and machines that collect plastic from rivers and oceans. A well-known example is the Ocean Cleanup, a Dutch project that removes plastic from the Pacific Ocean and rivers like the Rhine and the Meuse. The role of individuals. Everyone can help solve the problem. Small actions can have a big impact. Consider using reusable bags, bottles, and containers, separating and recycling plastic waste, never throwing trash on the street or in nature, raising awareness by talking to others about the issue. At schools and in neighborhoods, people can also take action together. Think of cleanup days, lessons about waste, or local projects to reduce plastic use. The future of our oceans. The future depends on how we handle plastic today. If we do nothing, the problem will only get worse. Scientists predict that by 2050, there could be more plastic than fish in the ocean if current trends continue. But there is hope. More and more young people are standing up for the environment. Media attention is increasing, and governments and companies are beginning to take responsibility. If we work together and use plastic more wisely, we can turn the tide. What can you do? Even though plastic soup is a global issue, the solution starts with you. Every person can make a difference. Even small actions can have a big effect when many people join in. Here are some ways you can help. Use less plastic. Bring your own water bottle and shopping bag. Choose products with less or no packaging. Pay attention to what you buy. Some care products like scrubs or toothpaste contain microplastics. Look for labels that say plastic-free, or use apps like Beat the Microbeat to check. Recycle properly. Put your plastic waste in the correct bin. Make sure it's clean so it can actually be recycled. Join cleanup efforts. Take part in or organize a litter pickup event. Every bottle, cap, or bag you collect won't end up in nature. Spread awareness. Talk about what you've learned. Share it with friends, family, or classmates. Post about it online or give a talk at school. Change begins with awareness. A lesson for the future. Plastic soup is the result of decades of using and carelessly discarding plastic. It affects not only our environment, but also our health, economy, and future. Animals suffer, ecosystems lose balance, and even our own bodies contain microplastics. Yet, there is hope. Governments, organizations, and people around the world are taking action. Technology helps clean up pollution, and new materials can replace plastic. But true change starts with awareness and behavior. The most important lesson is everyone has an impact. What you do today, refusing a plastic bottle, cleaning up trash, informing your friends, can make a difference tomorrow. The ocean begins at your doorstep. If we take responsibility together, we can stop plastic soup and create a cleaner, healthier world. Not just for ourselves, but for future generations.